insist on I insisted on research collections because the reason we do what we do is not because they're in because they're special. We do them because they're there for research, and that's what a university's kind of there for. So this is me being awkward and insisting that they're not special collections. Of course, they're all special. They're for research because we are archives, rare books, and art as well. So art is not special collections. It's research. Yeah, I chew pens really badly, so I have this now, and it's just great. It's just so much better. It's good for making a point. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Um, I studied history at York. So at York, it's just a general history course. It's not modern or ancient or anything like that. So it was just BA, Bachelor of Arts in History. Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. Well, when I came here 2001, no. It's just because it was a subject. It was kind of the subject I was kind of most interested in. I don't really think I thought that hard about it. I just it was just the one I wanted to do, and I think it felt like the natural one to do. It was while I was doing my undergrad that I decided that this was the job I was going to do because I was researching my undergraduate dissertation here where I'm working now is on the Roundtrees Company and the food adulteration scandals of the 19th century, of the late 19th century. And honestly, I always say it's just the arrogance of youth. I was what, 19, 20, and I just thought if I go and do, I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I think I was at the point of being like, maybe I'll be a teacher or maybe I'll stay in academia. And I just had that thought. I was like, I'm really enjoying doing this. And if I go and do another job, I'll get to do it every now and again. But if I do what these guys do, I get to do it every day. And so you just go, oh, I'll do that then. And you don't think about, or I didn't think about career paths or what I need to do to make this happen. You just go, oh, I'll just do that then. Well, it was more. I didn't even think of it as like a career. I just thought I'll do what they do. What they do. That's, that's it. Nah. Yes. What didn't it entail is a good question. So, okay, so this was Doug Sock. So this was the Douglas Adams Society at the University of York. Now, Douglas Adams, for those that don't know, is the author of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. I did enjoy those, but Doug Sock kind of pin it down. I mean, it just it did things, right? It did events. So they were none of them were sensible. So we have remember there was one, they were all themed. There was like public awareness night where we put up fake warning posters around campus. The best one was because there was lots of covered walkways, so they've all got a pole holding them up. And we just put up about 20 of them saying warning, deja vu ahead, which it's great fun. There was that, but really, what it did was what I felt came to feel its point was that it gave a place for people who didn't often mix with other people to mix. And it wasn't heavy. It wasn't like the Sci-Fi Society, which was full of rules and things had to be done a certain way and games had to be played a certain way. and all that. It became a place where I think the people that might have found being at university a bit lonely could find other people every Tuesday night that saw the world through their eyes. I mean, seriously, you can look at it through whatever lens you want, neurodivergency, whatever else. Right, tell me, we had every point on the spectrum represented, and I'm quite proud of that actually, because these are people that could find university a bit lonely, and we just watched kids' TV programs and did quizzes and stuff. So, but it was massively not related to Douglas Adams one bit at all. But it gave a place for these people to meet, and there's at least from the time I was involved with it, which is 2001 to about 2003, four. There's at least two marriages came out of it, and I can think of at least four kids that have been spawned from people that met at Dugsock. So, can't argue. No, no, no. Mine are not a result of that directly, anyway. No. You mean the ones that we did at York? Yeah, that was 2009. I can tell by my hair. It was 2009. The long hair period was around about 2008, 2009. I met her when I was in at the University of Wales doing my master's degree in archives. Aberystwyth. Yeah, yeah, I met there. Yeah. No, just do it as you want. It's fine. Well, I think. Well, no, I met him earlier. I think it was 2002. I think it might be in September 2002 or September 2003. One of those was when I met Tom. It might have been all three. I can't remember the exact date now, but it was at and I can never show it. But we were doing a thing for Dugsock where we gave people a fake degree, and I have a picture of Tom from when he signed up. Because every time they signed up, we did a picture with them like a degree presentation. So I've got a picture of Tom then, red t-shirt and everything. And so that he's stunningly young. He might be 18, 19 then. So then, yeah, would be when I met him. How I ended up getting involved in radio stuff, I genuinely can't remember because I don't know if I was there right at the start or not. Um, I don't know. I think it was close to the start, I think, and it was on URY. Why you asked me, I can't remember. I don't know. It is, yeah, basically, yeah. It's a student-run radio station, full broadcasting license, a lot, right? Online, FM. It broadcast and it functions as an actual radio station. And at York, there's also two student-run newspapers, and a student-run television station as well. And they're kind of training grounds for people who want to go off and work in those businesses. Yeah. So URY is not. It was like a fully equipped studio, like desks, microphones, the lot. It's a radio station, and I mean the fact is that the number of people listening to it is probably around about the same number of people who are broadcasting it. So about two or three. Um, but we were broadcasting online. I think we used to get some decent numbers when we were doing it online. I mean, we were not on in a prime spot. We were something like Monday nights at 10 o'clock or something like that. Really, really crappy slot, but still won awards. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I did what? Sorry. Yeah, yeah. No, that was my master. No, no, I did my master. I did my BA at York. I did my masters at Aberystwyth. My yeah, master's degree. Yes. Okay, so I've that's a very unprofessional career. Thank you very much. Okay, so I left Aberystwyth in summer 2005, and I was very lucky. No, no, you make your own luck. Okay, you're not just not everything is luck, but I was fortunate that a permanent archivist job came up in Wakefield, which is about 5 miles from where I grew up. Now, this never happens, right? In the normal trajectory of this career, getting a permanent job where you're from is like stunningly low, right? Especially a permanent one. Yeah. So I went there. I got that. So I went there. So I worked at Wakefield as one of the archivists till 2012, and then I became the such a rubbishy job title. It was e-services and off-site services coordinator. Right. So I ran the online stuff was the thing, while still doing everything else I was doing anyway. So that was what that 13-year gap. It was not a gap in my CV. I'm very open about it. But I was working there, and yeah, that's a local authority archive service. So again, it's something that's particular to the UK, is that every local council basically runs an archive service. So there are a lot of them in the UK. It's not like in say Switzerland where it's by canton and by region. It's quite small areas. So West Yorkshire Archive Service was five separate service points, five separate officers covering that county, right? So and you're always adapting to the changing local government boundaries. So we covered the whole county as well. But it was a really good grounding. You did everything, worked with people, took in the records, learned how to catalog, learned how to be and everything. And it was yeah, it was good fun. Never any money, but now in local authority, now working in universities as they are, there's no money here either. So it feels like a really good grounding, actually. Yeah, and you're doing it for not a glamorous not a glamorous area, but no one. It's not sexy, but it's important, right? And you did feel like you were one of the people that were standing up for a place that everyone else is happy to kick in the teeth repeatedly, and that's important. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Basically, and encouraging people to look at stuff, making people feel like they can. It's people. I think it's one of the things I was talking with someone yesterday about it. People don't realize that you want to come in and look at something from the 13th century just because you want to hold something from the 13th century. That is fine. You can do that. It's not a problem. Do it. Why not? Why do people go to museums and look at something in a glass case they can't touch? It's like come and play with the real thing. Hmm. Ah. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because there's the classic archivist answer to this, which is, oh, there's no such thing as a typical day, which is kind of true, right? It is kind of true. Every day can be different completely. You are completely at the mercy of the email and the phone because your whole year could turn on one email, because that's the way it works. Sometimes someone just rings up and goes, do you want to look at this? And you go, okay, off we go. That can happen and does happen. But, I am in a leadership position. I'm, theoretically in charge. So my job is a lot more of the sitting at this thing and this thing and emails and strategy and politics with a small p, people management as well. Both those that you employ and those that you work with out in the wider world. A lot of small p politics, a lot of small d diplomacy as well is needed. Yeah. Yeah, archives. Yeah, it's a sector. Yeah. No, archives is fine. Archives is fine. Yeah. um, it didn't feel like it. I just realized I've probably been in this job longer than I was in the job before, which is weird. But I came back here as access archivist, so that involved teaching and all the other archivist stuff as well. So that was quite fun, teaching people how to read medieval handwriting, a little bit of Latin, stuff like that. This job was inhabited by my previous incarnation up until 2019, and I assumed the mantle then. And I mean, it wasn't like I was like, oh, that's a surprise. I'd never thought of doing this job. No, I'd probably looked at it and gone, why not? I mean, don't forget, before I went to Aberystwyth, I was here as the trainee for a year. So I worked here um, as the young as the archives trainee. So I've gone from bottom to top. So I knew the place, and I just thought, yeah, again, that's sort of arrogance of youth of like, oh, I'll do your job, and when the moment comes, you're like, oh God, um, it's me now. It is a little bit. It is a little bit like playing the Doctor. There's only been five of us, okay, that have done this job ever from since 1953. Right, there's only been five of us, so we're a little. I mean, and three of them are dead. So there's there's only me and my predecessor, Chris. And when we beat up, it's like the two of us are back together again. Just swapping. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, there's only five of us, and the desk I'm sitting at here is the desk that was made for the first director in 1953. So we've all sat at the same desk. It's manifestly unsuitable for the modern working environment, but I'm very attached to it. So yeah, I mean, I've got my laptop here is balanced on an archive box and a document rests. Just right, it's yeah, it does a good job. It's just the right height. So yeah, there's only five of us. So but it means that you are, and I think and this weighs on my shoulders. There is this tradition that every keeper has worked under their predecessor. So there's always been a little bit of a torch handing thing, and you think, oh, am I going to be the first one to break it? Um, but it means that you're used to the place and its ebbs and flows and everything. Yeah, it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's difficult. I mean, because everyone in this business is always like, "Oh, what are you going to do next?" I'm like, I don't know because this is the kind of what I wanted to do, and I would just say I'm having too much fun at the minute. So, that's true. I mean, there's all sorts of daft things that I could end up doing. I mean, what? A month ago, I was in the Caribbean for work. I was in the Caribbean for work, paid to fly to the Caribbean and work there for a week. What the hell? I know. So, you know, okay. So we've been working for quite a few years on a parish register of baptisms, marriages, and burials that was from Nevis, as in St Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean. So we were involved with a naval history charity because it's got Nelson's marriage in it, and we have some experience of working with climatically damaged paper before. And so it was a but we saw it as a good experience to, well, firstly, preserve the history of quite a lot of enslaved people, because that's quite a lot of names that are in there. But also, it gives us direct experience of working with climatically damaged documents, with the documents that are kind of going to be damaged by climate change and the impacts that they have, because they are different to the damage that we normally see. So it was an experience in that. It took a lot longer than we thought it would. I don't think we realized it'd take that long. But it was the official return, and we had to take it back. And there was just that point. Me and my colleague, who's been doing the work on it, looked at each other and went, "It's going to take two of us to do this. We're going to have to. It's going to be two of us that's got to go back." So that was a hard one to raise with the bosses. Yes, two of us. Um, we'll go economy, all that kind of thing. But not being funny, on the official travel policy, we should have gone business, but we said we'd go economy. As we said, we were working with some other people and they were going for fun. And we were saying to each other, how come the ones that are going for pleasure are in business and the ones that are going for business are in economy? But the thing is, whenever you say that, you're like, yes, but an economy flight to the Caribbean. And you think, yeah, actually, shut up, morning. It's fine. Like, we just needed a bit more leg room, That's it. Yeah, we slummed it. It's fine. But 2 seconds, I'll show you. I'll go in my office. How heavy this is. Um, there, this is what we had. Big case, armored. Yeah, 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 yeah. There's all the gear that went to pad it out. Yeah. So this was my hand luggage. Yeah. Oh god. I just remember carrying this through airports, like strain. I could feel the strain on my shoulder again. Yeah, so like, this was my hand luggage with a really small rucksack with just a few bits in for the flight. And when this came back, I'll tell you now, this was full of bottles of rum. Coming through, coming through. Yes, but that was the no, no. Actually, that went through X-ray when it had the register in it. That went through X-ray perfectly every time. But my colleague, who had the plastic polythene strips for holding the pages down, got pulled over because they thought she was like a hijacker. She got things that look like cuffs. I thought, oh no. Yes, no, no. It's similar, but no. Inspired by, but no. This is the one I wear. I used to wear a hoodie, but this is just my work jacket. It's similar because it's got nice big pockets. So I got my little notebook and pencil. I've got my keys. It's perfect, yeah. And it's got you can roll the sleeves up really easy when you're doing a big job. It's great. Yeah, can do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we're talking. How many boxes? It's a lot. No, in general, not none in the office at the minute. No, I don't think so. Helena, yeah, no. In terms of the collection, Okay, so the archive side is broad. It's a broad collection. So you've got the records of the university itself. You've got records relating to mental health care in York, 18th century onwards, records for the church and religious thought in the north from the 13th century onwards to present day. 20th century politics, 20th century comedy and entertainment, is a growing area in environment and wildlife conservation, 20th century Southern Africa, confectionery manufacture in York from the 19th century onwards. Uh, yeah, philanthropy. I mean, there's just stuff of, left, right, and center. Yeah. Yeah. Mostly, mostly that still. Yeah, yeah. And gone. Yeah, yeah, we are. Um, Well, I mean, we're working with digital records anyway already, and we have been for some time. It's just a growing amount. I mean, yeah, still quite a lot of it is physical, but I'd say most collections we get now are hybrid, digital and physical, and it will only increase. I think there's a problem. People don't yet value digital files as much as they do physical. There's still a thing where people want the physical item. So that but we're already working on that and growing our skills and experience in working with that, and we can preserve most things realistically. Making them available might be a problem, but I think most things can be preserved in terms of a pure bit stream, if you like, of numbers. I think that's totally possible. Um, I think the challenge is breaking the mold of the same kinds of people being the ones that deposit records, which is still older white guys, realistically. It's not to say they're not valued and valuable, and it's not to say they don't have stories that are worth telling, but I think it's our duty to try and broaden that out a bit, but it's hard because you've got to build trust, and not everybody trusts you. There's a greater commercial awareness of what things are worth, which is a problem because people, I think, sometimes quite rightly expect that something will be worth something. And certainly in the university world, there's an expectation that you've just got money and we don't. And so that can be tricky. You getting involved in purchases is a dirty business, and we don't really want to get in it too much, but we will when we have to. And realistically, the challenges are space and time. They're the two things. And I think the more that we can harness technology to help us with that, the better. I'm relatively pro AI in the right circumstances for helping speed up what we do and how we do it. Less about generative AI, but certainly in terms of the analytics side and of stuff. I think that's a really important thing we can do to automate things. And remember, yeah, and getting people to see digital in the same way as they do physical. I think there's a thing of people just don't value it in the same way. They'll go, "Oh, I've got these photo albums, and you must hate them." And you'll go, "Have you got any digital?" And they'll go, "Oh yeah, I got loads of them, but you want one of those, will you?" That is a very common conversation, and I don't know why. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just what it's on that's different. Yeah. I think another thing with the future of it kind of thing is people see access to information as a right, and that is correct. It's a good thing. People also see that access to information should be instantaneous, and that is a problem because it's not always possible. We're used to we ask a thing a question, it gives us an answer, and we trot along, and that's fine. but that's the tip of an iceberg in terms of the amount of information that's out there. And we've seen it enough where because it's on Wikipedia, it's right. And there is a problem. There's an endemic problem in our information landscape, which is that Wikipedia does not accept primary source as its citation. Okay, it will only take it from a published source. So if you have a published, as they see it, verifiable source that's wrong, they will default to that instead of the unpublished source that they see as unverified and probably wrong, even though it could be giving completely wrong information every single time. So there's a couple out there that we see all the time when people get in touch with us. They say, "Oh, this is the case." And you're like, "Well, no, but someone published it wrong or guessed 20 years ago in a book, and now it's the official version, and that's wrong." Yeah, and also, but people are getting better at information literacy. And I think people are getting better at mistrusting sources. But there's a fear. There's often a thing of if I can't get it straight away, you're hiding it, and that's not the case, right? But I think our horizons of who does history and research has changed, right? It used to be that if someone was working on something on, say, India, they're probably going to be based in India, but that's not the case anymore. You could be based wherever. So there's a great, our users come from right the way around the world. You can go right the way around the world and from pole to pole and always be in a country that has at least one Borthwick user in. And that happens every month, which is great. But it also means, are we just bluntly pissing people off on a global scale now because they can't get the stuff because we're hearing you out? It's difficult. So we've probably digitized. I think the usual thing is around about 1 to 2% is normally your number of stuff that you've done. I think ours is slightly higher because we've done a lot of work with Ancestry and Find My Past, but I think it's still less than 10% of everything that we've got. You can't digitize everything. It's not possible, and also not desirable because that just is a digital landfill of everything that you've got. Why would you do that as well? Because then you have two copies of everything. You've got a physical and a digital one that you need to look after. You just made your job twice as hard by doing that. So you've got to do it selectively, and I think you've got to do it informed. You've got to think of the environmental impact as well of doing this. It's not a zero impact thing. If you put a research resource, digitize it, and put it online, you are committed to that for a period of time, which it could be decades, and will get harder and harder and harder as things go along. So, it's not a case that if someone gave me unlimited time and money, I'd digitize everything. I actually wouldn't digitize everything. I'd digitize more, but I wouldn't digitize everything because, quite frankly, there's stuff that a very, very, very small number of people want to see right now, and some stuff will only come to its prime in years to come. And also, if you do that, there's a temptation to get rid of the physical, which would be a mistake. It's selective, but it's informed by need and demand. So we monitor what people are looking at, we monitor what people are searching for, we get all those, and then we say, okay, this is coming up as obviously a major source, or this is something that people are really interested in, and we'll go towards it that way. We also try and do big amounts of stuff. So rather than doing one hospital case book, we'll do all of them, that kind of thing. So it's a chunk of stuff that goes up. Yeah. Number one, don't feel like you've got to be just a historian. or from a history background, the sector needs people with technical skills and will always need that, and they'll need it in greater numbers. So you don't have to be interested in kind of, a history type. Okay, that's not what we need. Don't ever do down or don't ever minimize your real world experience. So many people come, and when you're talking to them, or they want to talk about their career, they're telling you of like the voluntary experience they did for a month here, or the 2 weeks they did as a placement. And you're like, yeah, but have you worked in a bar? Have you worked in a shop? Have you worked in a nightclub? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, that tells me that you can work with people. That tells me you can carry expensive things. That tells me you can cope with a person who's pissed off or kind of awkward, and those skills are more important. Don't forget, out of all things, that the job is about dealing with people. And if you've not got people skills, you're not gonna do the job properly. I'm dealing with my team, the people I work with. I'm dealing with people outside my direct team that work in the university. I'm also dealing with 3, 4 lords of the realm, because their depositors or donors are in our orbit. Well, no, sorry, 3 lords and an earl. I think it is something like that. So I'm dealing with people who are like, lords. One of them is directly related to the king, right? That's just my job. So you're dealing with people on a level that is, Lord, in my case, Lord Halifax, whose grandfather was that Lord Halifax from World War II. That is him, right? Peter, as I know him. I'm dealing directly with the Archbishop. So he's like 2 down from God, let's face it, in the Church of England, all the way through to someone who lives down the road in the council estate just over there. And you have to be able to deal with a broad range of people. And to quote Rudyard Kipling, walk with kings nor lose the common touch. Right? You've kind of got to be able to do both, which is hard. So it's all about dealing with people. And also, you're dealing with the people in the records. You've got to be mindful and understanding and kind of non-judgmental, but a bit judgmental to some extent. And just, you are doing this. This is not, and the job is not all you, right? Like I said, I'm one of 5. One day there will be a 6th, and I will pass that on to them, and that's their job then. So the job of you as the archivist, you're not the researcher, you're not any of that. It's your job to be aware and active and to hand the place on in at least no worse condition, ideally better, to the person that comes next, right? And you're just a name on the wall or something. That's all you are. You're just one in a line. And someone's been doing what I do. When you think about, say, the records of the Archbishop, someone's been doing my job since like at least the 13th century, and we've just handed it on to each other as you've gone along. And some have done great, and some have done all right, but nobody's done dreadfully yet. It's time. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Aubrey Williams. Yeah. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know. It was damaged, so it had a hole in it, which looked very much like a chair leg or a table or something had been knocked against it at some point in the past. And on it was these brown dribbles, right? And we were working with Aubrey Williams' daughter, lovely lady called Mary Dower. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I love her bits. And she said, "Oh, it's not coffee." She said, "It's turpentine. He used to flick turpentine on the canvas to make the paint dribble." And then it turned out in the course of restoration, now it was coffee. So I don't know if the hole in it and the coffee splattered on it are the same incident. I don't know. But yes, it turned out in being cleaned, it was coffee. One of our statues also had vomit on it at one point, turned out as well. To quote Spinal Tap, you can't dust for vomit. We don't know whose vomit it was. Um, um, I genuinely am in the moment a bit, I think, when I'm doing it. And I am reminded only when I see it that, oh, yeah, I remember that bit now. It's like, because, I mean, the thing is, I think it was especially, I don't feel like it was evident enough in Two of These People Are Lying, was that we were doing all that immediately. Like, we had no prep, right? So all the all the bullshit we were whipping up, we were doing there and then. So you're working, you really are working hard mentally to throw stuff out there and do it. None of it is scripted. None of it is scripted at all. We genuinely get to where we're going. I mean, Matt will have sorted out the lighting and the cameras and everything and the sound and mics, and Tom will have sorted out like the questions and also done the lights and the tech. But me and Chris, I mean, we genuinely just sit down and go. I mean, we have 5 minutes just pissing around with each other, and then it's like, right, should we do one? Yeah, right, back, go. It's like that. But don't forget, when I say it's mental work, from my point of view, and this is why I don't remember, is yeah, you're listening to what they're saying, but you're also, my point of view, thinking of where they're going, so I can think of the next thing to throw in. All of it, all of it, all of it. Yeah, okay, well, it will be like Matt's heard that word. I know where his brain's going to go and I know where he's going. And so I need to get up to about here to come in with the next bit to develop that. And it's knowing when to back off when you know that one of the others is on a good bit. Like, just he's doing it now. This is going to be good. Let him go. Let him go. This is good. I mean, yeah. I mean, we don't come out and. I mean, I've never been unhappy with an edit. I've never gone, oh man, I had more to say than that. I don't care. I'm genuinely, it's a privilege to be forced to sit around and piss around with three people that we get on with. It's that easy. It's that simple. No, no, I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I mean, in the end, it's not my show. I'm not precious over it. It's Tom's show, and it's got to work for him. And if he don't think it works, then whatever, it's fine. Ha. Well, near term future, I think I want to double check. We have got a date booked in for the next set for the next recording. I think it's not that day. Not that day. Yeah, yeah. End of next month, we've got a date in for doing more. So that's happening. No, I think we're just going to do more. I assume we're going to do more reverse trivia. Yeah. Oh, great. We send you to sleep. That's great. Thanks. No, I've not done that in years. It's, but the thing is, no, no, no. But the thing is, right, it is touching. I mean, I try not to get chippy about it. It's weird when people repeat stuff back to me. Like you said, oh, you said this, and I'm like, yeah, I know, it was me that said it. That's yeah, I know, it was me that did it. But it's nice. I mean, it's nice that people think like that. It is, and I know there's at least one person that's got a goose on a train tattoo, which was mad but lovely at the same time. And yeah, I think the thing is for all of us, certainly me, I can only speak for me, doing it's great, but when people get in touch and say, "Oh yeah, it helped me at a really bad time," or I've been feeling really crap lately, and listening or watching these has really like cheered me up. That makes it that's fine. That makes it all worthwhile, really. If there are a few more people in the universe that may have decided to leave early, but decided not to because we did or said something that meant something, fab. That's I'm not being blasé. I mean, that is really all you want in the world, right? Well, knee-jerk reaction right now is cake, but it could change tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, sometimes you just have a really good bowl of cereal and you think this was what I needed. So that it's just some are just ahead and some are just behind. Let's face it. Fine. That's fine. Oh God, biscuits are all cake. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was one we used to do on the early ones on URY, where I did like as many puns about something as I could in like 60 seconds. And I think back, I'm like, bloody hell, how did I do that? Sat live doing it. Bang, 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 bang. Um, don't know. That happened in the period that I wasn't doing tech diff on the URY. I left after like two series or something like that, the first ones, and that was something that happened in the interim and was still a thing when we came back. So I don't know, actually. Never happened. Again, I'll tell you now, the honest answer, the genuine, and I don't know. And right, I genuinely don't know. He was just called that when I first met him. And I never asked because people just have names, so it's fine. So genuinely, you can put me on the rack all you want. I don't have an answer. No, just ask me what you want. It's fine. Don't worry. No, I don't think so. I mean, not like false modesty. Genuinely, I don't. It's really great that people love what we do. I can't. I think what we do makes us laugh, and I think it's brilliant that it makes other people laugh. But ask me to understand it or explain it, I can't. It's just what we do. It's just how we are. I mean, we have between you and me, we have a WhatsApp group, the four of us, and it's just constant shtick, right? It's just what we do. It's just we turn that into talking to each other twice or three times a year. Yeah, 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 totally, 100%. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's not at that intensity, right, all the time because that'd be exhausting. There's depths, but not huge. A lot of it is just us desperately trying to make the other ones laugh. I mean, that is it. I mean, I was saying like to my wife, I was like, it's a curse, right? It's in I'm doing it all the time. There's these things like someone say something, I'm like, huh, straight back at them. And it's just a curse. It is. You got to get it out somewhere, or I think you'd just lose it. I mean, I am. There's an element of performance and not performance. So like beforehand, I'm not like bouncing around like a fucking idiot because that'd be like having a toddler in the room. Generally, I mean, the biggest one I remember was the live show we did at Conway Hall, where we were just. I mean, there was one point I was like, just beforehand, I was sat on the stairs on outside the green room on my own, like a fire escape. And Chris was sat next to me. And I just went, "What are we doing?" I was like, "Why are we doing this? This is stupid. This is not. This is nuts." And he kind of taught me like down from the ledge, as it were, to go and do it because we were just so nervous. I mean, once you get out there, I mean, I understand why people get addicted to fame, right? Because the point you walk out and there's this massive noise, and everyone's like, you've got a 400 people hanging on your every word, and you're playing them like an instrument. I mean, it's a bloody good feeling. It really, 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 really is, right? But it's not real, right? It's not real. I mean, the biggest mistake we made with that was that we went because it was like a big park outside, and we were like, "Oh, we'll meet. Hey, we'll say hello to everybody. People when we come out. If any of you want to say, say hello, wait around." And we came out, and basically the whole audience had just moved into this park, right? Like shit. We thought there'd be like 10 people or something, and like they're all there wanting photos. We were like, this was a real bad idea, man. It was like, no, 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 no. People brought them, right, and put them on the stage, and we were like, what are we going to do with all these? So take them. Oh no, we did. You're right, we did. Tom got little packs. Yes, they were on the chairs. They were. The people got them as they went in. You're right. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. It, well, no mystery to them because they said what they were on them. They were like little, you know. From my point of view, when you're at a work meeting and someone goes, "We've got biscuits," and it's those little packets that have like two little biscuits in, those, right? So not impressive, but yeah. Oh, did we do two shows or one? I think it was one show of two halves. That was it. Yeah, yeah, it was two halves. Yeah, that is fucking mental. I do sometimes look back on that one where we walk out, and I just think that's beyond anything of my imagination when that happened. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I do a little bit. I enjoyed the ones we did at YouTube, the last two series of Citation Needed. They were fun. I enjoyed that audience. Mostly, there were a couple that were hard work. I seem to remember that. I ended up doing the warm ups. I'm not a stand up comedian, but I ended up doing the bloody warm ups to try and get everyone going. I enjoyed that. They were good. They were good. They were a little bit of a treadmill sometimes, but they were good. Um, but we were right to stop it when we did. We could probably have done another two series of Citation Needed easily, but go out. We just said, I personally always say, go while they want you to stay. Don't stay when they want you to go. So end it early, and everyone wishes you could do more of it. Yeah, and we were lucky with because obviously what happened was one of Mac's relatives passed away. Um, so that is why we got Will and what's his name? Matt. We got Will and Matt Parker in because like it was one of his relatives passed away and they were abroad and he had to go to the funeral pretty much like immediately. And that was like on the Wednesday or the Thursday or something before the shit like and we were filming on the Saturday. It was always on the Saturdays. And so it was a case of shit. Like the audience is coming, the space is booked, we've got to do it. And I mean, working with Matt Parker took slightly longer to warm up. to it, right? He took slightly longer to get the grip of it, but Will was amazing. I mean, he was such fun. He just got it. He absolutely got it. And don't forget that Will's like professional at this, and so's Matt Parker, right? This is their bloody living, and I'm just this jobbing idiot that just sits there and just fucks around with absolutely no consequences whatsoever. Um, and for the live show, don't forget we had Jay Foreman as our warm up. Jay did a full set before. No, this was like when Jay was massive anyway. It was like, why is Jay our warm up? We should be the other way around. Like, no, because there was a fuck up with the camera. Uh, there was a camera at the back that should have been shooting Jay's warm up, and it didn't work. There was an angle over the heads of the audience that didn't work, or something. The camera didn't do it. Yeah, that I remember. Oh, it was Jay doing like 3 or 4 songs. It was good. I was like, aren't they going to be really disappointed when we come out? Because don't forget, before we did that show at Conway Hall, we'd never done what we do in front of anyone, right? So we were like, but there's quite a lot that doesn't make the final cut. Like, are they just going to be sat there really pissed off that so much of this is low quality? You know, I swear I got the first time I said fuck in front of an audience and it got a massive laugh was dreadfully. I was like, oh, fuck off. Bang. I was like, Jesus, you know, because I mean, it took it, we didn't realize the audience was on our side, right? They're here to see you. They're here to see you, and they want to enjoy it and they want to like it. And so they were like, it was. You can see it's intoxicating. It is. I mean, I'm sure if you did that up at the Edinburgh Festival, it's just full of people throwing bricks at us and rotten fruit. But for that, they'd all wanted to come see it. I mean, the tickets sold out in like half an hour or something weird. It was really quick. It was like they're gone. It was like that's when we were like, oh shit, this is actually. We were like, this is too big a venue. It should be smaller. Like we're never going to fill this. It was like, poof, bollocks. Like, yeah, it was crazy, and I'm glad we did it once. And I think everybody should have that feeling once in their life. Um, Everyone should have that once. I think that's enough. I think if you could get addicted to it and become a real weirdo. Um, but that's why I'm quite glad I don't do it for a living. I do something else for a living, and this I just go out and do for fun, really. That's all right. No, no, no. I'm no. I just no. This is what it's. This is what I'm like. I've no expectations of life whatsoever. All right. Thank you. But you're the only one that replied. It's, well, lovely. It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Really, really thank you. Thank you so much for that. All right, mate. Thanking you. Pardon? Thank you. No, no, I'm in the office. This is not my house. No, this is my office. Yeah. All right. See ya. Lovely meeting you. Bye.